Good morning from sunny beachside Bali. I am sitting in an egg chair, which is one of my favorite things, by the pool in the garden. And I have just been tuning into my day to day and the landscape of my inner being and what I'm moving and shifting through in my own life right now. And I felt to share the way that I invite balance and structure into my days, because it looks very different to the way that I was conditioned to approach life. And I thought it might expand or serve someone else listening to hear what I do every day or most days to create some semblance of structure for myself to move through the world in the most coherent way in alignment with my soul. So the first thing I do is really connect my heart to my oversoul, because depending on where I've been in my dreamscape or what's moving through me, maybe in the emotional layers, physical layers of my body, that as soon as my eyes open in the morning, I'm connecting in to that space, to my oversoul, and to the highest source light that I can. And if I'm traveling through something quite big, or I'm feeling sick, or there's an acute off day, then I'm usually intending to tune into that and staying true to the process that I'm moving through. So that's the first thing that I do, and I've found in my own experience that intention is always the most important thing. So with that intention and with that as my guide, to stay connected to my oversoul, to move from that place, to live from that place, and refine different aspects of my life from my oversoul, from my connection to source. Everything unfolds from there. The next thing I kind of do at the moment is tune into where I'm at in my physical cycle, in my womb, in my body, and what the qualities of that are, and what's talking to me within my physicality in the world of form, because things vibrate in the ethereal spaces before they enter into the physical world, which is the densest. So this morning I was tuning in. I'm just about to shed my womb lining and bleed, so I could feel deep hunger in my belly. I can feel like a pulsing in my womb, like the transition from autumn to winter is happening for me today. And just asking my being, like, what wisdom wants to be uncovered here. Which aspect of myself do I want to sit with today? And then inviting in whoever I'm co-creating with in the quantum field. So right now it's the divine feminine mother, Sophia, and the Sophia Dragon Tribe. Kuan Yin and the goddesses are really supporting me through dissension into the womb, and activating and elevating and embodying my galactic womb consciousness within this vessel. And that's been beautiful. quite uncomfortable at times, but it's really the DNA activation and the support that I feel from those beautiful beings is unparalleled, and I'm really grateful. So tuning into that space, and then I'm usually activating in my quantum field. So I'm still kind of in a lucid sleep state when I'm doing this. I've already done this morning, and I'm just kind of landing after my breakfast and explaining the process to you. I try to do this when I'm still in quite in touch with my subconscious mind. So I'm still in bed usually when I'm doing all of this, and not really activating my my brainwaves too much. I'm staying with that sleep state, with the theta, beta kind of gamma energies, and then I'm tuning into my heart and into any messages from my oversoul. And I literally ask the question multiple times if I'm not sure throughout the day, or if I haven't received a clear answer, like, how can I move through the world of forms today and stay in alignment with my soul and move from that place. And sometimes I'll receive a feeling, an inner knowing, an image. Usually I can timeline read, I can feel and sense a timeline if I've moved to a new place, or if it's time to move house. This can get a little not confusing, but I'm just not always shown a lot when I'm upgrading my frequency. So if I'm shifting one of my templates, or if I'm looking to move to a new location, like move houses, if I need to get into a new frequency, a higher frequency, or a bliss state, or a certain thing needs to shift in my being, then it can sometimes take me shifting my vibration before I can see the timeline. I can't physically access the energetic information from the frequency that I'm at. So my guides will say, take the day off, go to the beach, go and do whatever you feel is going to light you up today, so that you forget about it, about having to know the answer, and just have fun. Follow what feels really good to you, and really good to your soul. And then the answer usually arrives. Sometimes like mid-massage, laying in the sun on the beach. It's whenever I completely surrender to the new frequency, to letting go of needing to know. So and something that has helped me refine that too is asking my team to align my oversoul with my physical body. So often what happens is we upgrade in the light bodies, in the ethereal spaces, if we have a clearing or a big experience, or a breathwork session, or a plant journey, or a quantum healing session. And then the integration period that we usually go through after that within the body is like your cells trying to integrate the new information that's arrived from source. And I've been fortunate enough to download a lot of quantum architecture and receive a lot of beautiful light architecture to support easeful, graceful integration. Because when I first started connecting to the galactic councils, some of them hadn't worked with human fields before, and they would just blast me with light. And the integration into my physicality, because my organ structures weren't calibrating fast enough, the purges were so awful. Like, I couldn't function in the human realm for many, many months. My soul was also feeling like I'm on a mission, like I know what I need to do with these councils now. This feels like I need to just follow it, until I got to the point where, yeah, I was just not functioning. I couldn't move. I was just purging, and I'd get migraines, and there was a huge DNA restructuring that happened within my being in order to clear the circuitry, particularly of my mind, my womb, and my heart as well, so that I had deeper access to the architecture of those places. Since that, I've been able to download really easeful architecture to allow the human to continue humaning and integrate. Like, you get drip fed the codes now, and I've not ever had anyone that has worked with me go through a purge that is that deeply disturbing to their human. The codes will just kind of sit in the light bodies, which is really beautiful. If this architecture would serve you and you're connected to your teams of light, you're welcome to receive this, of course, at any time. And yeah, the codes just kind of sit there and are drip fed into the system rather than just getting absolutely blasted with light. And then the cell purging just becomes a lot more easeful, a lot more gentle. So I'm really grateful for that technology. And I forget why I was talking about that. Upgrading the architecture. Doesn't matter anyway. So yeah, that's just a little insight into structuring of the day. There's also a lot of mind structures that needed to dissolve for me. I went from traditional education system, completely engrossed in the Western academic mind and mindset, and I also did tertiary study for like 4 years. So I must have been at school for 15 years in a traditional indoctrinating kind of scenario. So for me to move from that level of Western matrix slave conditioning to now living in complete soul alignment, it's taken a lot of restructuring, a lot of surrendering, and a lot of timeline shifting of those old structures to return to how the heart and the soul and the being actually moves through this world of forms. It happened as a complete dissolving and collapse of the self-concept for me, which to the ego is very disturbing, but to the soul is liberation. So I've been grateful for that experience too, because it also supports me in pulling others out of that system and supporting them in structuring their days and their lives from the essence of the soul. Because of course, like even the Gregorian calendar clocks, if you've not done any work to recode your connection to time, it's likely that you're still plugged into grids of density that are keeping you enslaved in the human systems of time space. And your intention can shift that. So it doesn't need to be a big thing to unplug yourself from that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, depending on how layered it is, what your soul contracts are with those things. So once again, if you feel to clear that, just tune in meditation and use your powerful intention. You're the creator, you're the activator of your entire reality. So feel free if that calls you. And yeah, the way that we structure our days and our lives in society is a really potent key when we reflect on this, about how this is keeping us in a certain vibration, in a certain pattern. If you've ever traveled or gone overseas or to a place that's very different to where you have lived or grown up, you might be able to relate to the feeling of experiencing a difference in the culture, in the day, in how someone structures their day, in like beliefs and attitudes towards spending the day and moving through the day. For example, here in Bali, they count 1 day from sunrise to sunrise. So 6 a.m. one day to 6 a.m. the next day is 1 day for them. And yeah, Eastern cultures definitely move differently with the time-space reality compared to the Western systems. And in a quantum session, it's one of the first things that I'm usually unplugging people from. It's always a dead giveaway in sessions if someone comes in wearing a watch, that there is like some sense of urgency that's been installed into their software of their being. That's just a contract that needs to close. Everything is actually functioning perfectly well in the world of forms. And when we remove those energetic plugs and hooks to structuring the day through the Gregorian system, we are liberating ourselves from that frequency, and it allows what's actually organic for the soul to do. Because I've even worked through it recently, some more layers around schooling, and like giving my power away to teachers, and like even asking to go to the bathroom, and yeah, you begin to learn that in those systems that my time isn't mine, it belongs to the system, it belongs to the government. Bony bit. So yeah, it's multifaceted, but also your soul knew that it was signing up for that, especially in the early years of your life. If those systems played a big role, hospital births, all these things are creating contracts with the systems, with the matrix systems, and the unplugging of those things is a true source of liberation for the soul. It's very possible. I've gone through the process the past 4.5 years myself. I would say after 2 years of deep work to remove those programs has really, really allowed my soul to flourish and blossom. And I truly feel like I'm serving here on earth in a way that feels soft and aligned for my soul now. It doesn't feel the way that life used to feel when I was trying to fit myself into a 9-to-5 grocery list version of life and success. And to me, the true sense of success now is there's ways that I can sense and feel that in myself, and also in the beautiful beings around me and those walking this path. And I think you'd agree that it's things like light back in somebody's eyes after a period of feeling disconnected from their heart or their soul. It's having the capacity to really feel the full spectrum of human emotion. If we're grieving, allowing the heart to crack fully, and the wisdom of loss, of death, of life, to stream through and awaken the being, because when we shift our perspective, it's all here humming and serving us on this planet. It's a reciprocal connection to Gaia, to this human experience, to our souls. And when we shift our perspective to believe that everything is happening for us, if I relate it to my own journey, I knew as a soul coming in that I would be born in a hospital, I would be induced, forced out of the womb. That imprint's taken a lot of recoding for me. Many other imprints and contracts with the systems of ill will and the matrix agendas. There they go, clearing right now as I speak to the past. And yeah, success feels different when we shift our perspective to, how's this serving me? How's this situation serving me? How is this feeling of defeat serving me? How's this depression serving my soul? What's it showing me? How can I zoom out? That is so common. And the first step to perspective shifting is just zooming the F out of your small sense of I, whatever you're feeling stuck with. Zoom out, imagine yourself literally, without dissociating, of course, although I guess that has its place in the functionality of things too, and let yourself see the bigger picture. Remind yourself that there's literally 8 billion other beings on this planet, and that most of them at some point in their lives would have felt the emotion that you're feeling or had a similar experience to what you're going through. You're not isolated in what you're feeling or experiencing. And even if it's a very strange experience, I've had a lot of those myself in my galactic awakening. Even if you channel ETs or angels or whatever it is, or you're seeing demons, like whatever's going on for you, I guarantee there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of others who have also had that experience. And that's one of the beautiful things about the internet as well, is it can give us access to show our brains and our beings, if I look up something about someone else's life on social media or YouTube with the intention to show yourself that this isn't an isolated incident, it can start to bridge that concept into your life. And to remember that you are limitless, that there's literally nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that's impossible. You can shift at any moment. You can start again at any time, at any point. You're never too old. You're never too young. Those concepts, and if you feel that, it's a not soul concept anyway. It's a concept of fear. If it makes you feel trapped in any way, it's a not soul program. It's it wants to be cleared if it's showing up in your vibration like that. It wants to be looked at. It wants to be shifted. And Source supports us no matter what. We're always supported, always loved. And I hope that you feel heard and seen and loved and connected to life today, connected to your soul and the essence of your soul. And if you feel dissonance or disconnection, I hope that these words have supported you in realizing that, or has supported you in bridging yourself to your heart and your soul in some way. And that every being feels home. I truly wish that every being felt home in their hearts, with their souls connected to their hearts in this life and every other life. Unity is real, and I see you, and thank you for being here. And I'm sending you a big blast of light, and yeah, many blessings to you.